Hi, and welcome to Chef Ray's Treasures of Food. It's all about color with Chef Ray's Treasures of Food. If there's no color on the plate, I'm not gonna eat. I wanna eat before I taste the food, so therefore there has to be color on that white plate. Simple as that.
I keep running to my dreams, I'm a dreamer, baby. Read a caption from a chick talking down, baby. Said don't date a dreamer past a certain age. If you stop dreaming, living like a slave. Keep me motivated, I don't want a best chick. I'm so underrated, faith keep me on my
Hello, and welcome to Chef Ray's Treasures of Food. On this week's episode, I wanted to go back and reflect on 2020. I know most of us don't want to talk about it, but I think it's important to go back and look at how far we've actually come. For myself, January of 2020, I was prepared, ready to go with the new year. I had just released my new book, 15 Years in 12 Minutes, chronicling my life. As well, I can tell you exactly what I was doing the week prior to the world shutting down, or the United States shutting down. But the beauty to life is, fast forward a year later, we're still here, we're still standing. But I thought it was important for me to go back and do a reflection on what prevailed me through the year, some of the things that I did that I wanted to share with you. So on April 1st, 2020, I decided that in order for me to get through COVID-19, which I believe all of us for some short span of time, we thought that we would be back to normality midsummer, right? Or even, to tell you the truth, I thought Memorial Day. So in saying that, I started writing daily messages. Those daily messages literally was what I call talking to myself. And fast forward, here we are, March. The day is the 16th that I'm recording this episode for Friday. I basically decided after June 1st that I was gonna write every day because it was literally, like I said, talking to myself, but actually they were words to myself. I encouraged myself through spiritual writing each day, and I started sending them to some of family and friends each day to actually encourage them as well. I am totally vaccinated as of February the 19th. I am going to do a quick PSA. I encourage, if you have not received your vaccination, I encourage you, please go and get vaccinated. Don't believe all the hype. I actually received my first shot January 29th, zero problems. Second shot, February the 19th, zero problems. I took no Tylenol, no Motrin, no anything, and I am perfectly fine. You can see I'm standing here, still a little bit of my midsection, but all in all, I've got my peace of mind. Nothing has grown on me. So please, I encourage everyone, particularly in the Black and brown communities, go and get vaccinated. That is the only way we're going to get back to normality. So what we're going to do and what I did for a full year, that brings everybody together. And this is one thing, if you ever want to repeat something that I said, and that is food has a unique way of bringing people together, because the truth of the matter is, I can give someone a dozen of cookies. That dozen of cookies is shared with multiple people that I've actually given the cookies to. So in saying that, it's almost like paying it forward. So I got into really baking almost literally every day. That was my pastime because we were pretty much locked into the home. And as a chef in my pantry, of course, I had an abundance of sugar, flour, pecans, chips, eggs, you name it. I didn't have to go to the store till literally almost May. Today's Chef Ray Treasure Food, we're gonna talk about cookies. I'm a cookie monster, I love cookies. I'm actually going to do my mom's signature peanut butter cookies that she used to bake for us when we would come in from school, during grade school. And also I'm gonna do my favorite signature chocolate chip cookies. So, let's sit back, have some fun, and I'll give you a couple of little tips and treasures in my cookie baking, and let's all just turn into cookie monsters. What makes a good cookie? Well, I'm here to tell you today. For me, I love cookies. It's all about the ingredients. First and foremost, as I always said, I don't use all-purpose flour. I use cake flour, right? In my chocolate chip cookies, instead of using little chips, I use the double thick chip. My pecans are more so just broken up. So you actually get pure chocolate and pecans. And then the next secret is, of course, that we all know, your butter needs to be at room temperature. So in my signature chocolate chip cookies, we have sugar, flour. On the sugar, we have white and brown, right? And then we have our pecans, chocolate chips, eggs, vanilla extract, and baking soda. Alrighty? So there's chocolate chip cookies are simple to make, but the art to the chocolate chip cookie, it's all about the chips and the pecans. So one of the other treasures, right? Cake flour. And then we're gonna also sift our 3 cups of flour that the recipe calls for. And the fact that it's cake flour, as I stated earlier in the pound cake episode, cake flour is much lighter. It has less gluten. Okay, so basically I use the mixer just to mix in my pecans and chips just a little, and then I'll fold them in for the remainder because I don't want to break up my chips in the batter by over mixing. So basically I'm just folding my chips in. I get my ice cream scoop, miniature ice cream scoop, which I call basically your sorbet ice cream scoop, to scoop my dough onto the cookie sheet here. I basically get a nice scoop of the cookie dough here and place it on the cookie sheet. And I usually bake a dozen per cookie sheet just to make sure that I give enough of spacing in the baking process of the cookies. We've got them on the cookie sheet. Now we're gonna place them in the oven. Again, I bake everything at 325. That's my preference. And we'll let them bake for about 20, 30 minutes until they're done in the center. One of the recipes that my neighbors loved that I shared during COVID was my mother's peanut butter cookies. When we were in grade school, Mom always had dessert when we got home, when we arrived home from school. Now, I was thinking last night before recording this episode today, I was like, you know, Mom used to make this jelly cake. Now I'm dating myself. For most people, if you're from the South, I'm sure you've heard or you've had a jelly cake. And basically it was yellow cake, but the icing was jelly. But there was a unique way of making the jelly icing. And I have 2 aunts, the ones that you've seen in my videos, that I'm still trying to get that recipe to be able to do a jelly cake. But 2 of my favorite recipes, or 2 of my favorite desserts that my mom used to make for us, were her peanut butter cookies and that damn jelly cake. And we're gonna do a jelly cake on Chef Ray's Treasure of Food. So I'm researching it, trying to get my aunts to give me the proper technique in cooking down the jelly icing to make our jelly cake. But right now we're gonna talk about my mom's peanut butter cookies. Basically almost similar to the chocolate chip. We've got brown and white sugar. We have our cake flour, we have eggs. It also calls for baking powder and baking soda, and of course, peanut butter. And I always tell people, peanut butter is peanut butter, but some people's like, oh, they've got to get certain brand. But to me, if you love peanut butter, it all tastes the same. And there's no flavoring other than the peanut butter. So I'm gonna mix it real quick. We'll bake a dozen and let O'Shea sample, as always. Alrighty, so with peanut butter cookies, you can do it 2 or 3 ways. You can do a scoop as well, but I just choose to grab it, roll it into like a 2-inch ball, place them on the cookie sheet. Man, I can actually taste these before they actually bake. I'm thinking of my beautiful mother, who will actually be in next week's episode, the 26th. I'm honoring my mom because it would have been her 90th birthday. She would have been 90 on March the 29th. I'm going to honor her next Friday on the March 26th episode. So we've got our cookie dough on the sheet. So now what we're going to do, we're going to take our fork, dunk it in some bowl of hot water here. And we're gonna come with our forks. Just press it in the center. Turn it 90 degrees. And I come back with another little. And then we're just gonna sprinkle sugar on top. And we'll bake them for about 25 minutes. In the oven, we'll have our peanut butter cookies. Let me tell you about my mamas. What'd you say? Mama used to say, take your time, young man. But these are my mama chocolate chip cookies. O'Shea got me clowning. Peanut butter cookies. So signature, this is my signature chocolate chip, but Mama, miss you. It's all for you, baby.